from what I was doing. And like if I've just done a little diagram of what that was, I would go to write and I would hit that block. You know, it was about 15 minutes. It was always around 15 minutes in. And that block, you know, made me feel really inadequate, not good enough as a songwriter. You know, I could sing, I could play instruments, I could play gigs, but I couldn't finish a fucking song, right? And I would walk away hating myself, and I went through these cycles of self-loathing. I would tell myself that I couldn't do it, I wasn't good enough, that I might as well quit. What's the point of doing this? Then I developed a fear around writing, a fear around being creative, and that fear turned into procrastination about going to do it because I was fearful, so I would procrastinate, I would do something else. I would do something easier because, guys, it's actually easier to not write a song than it is to write a song. And a lot of time would pass. It would be like sometimes 4 months. But, you know, I'd watch a movie, I'd read a book, I'd go to a museum, and I'd be inspired again. And I'd go to write, and I'd hit a wall 15 minutes in. You're seeing where I'm going here. And what this resulted in for me was this like creative wasteland where absolutely nothing grew. And I would be by myself, I was isolated, I didn't know how to move forward. And I felt like nothing was growing, but actually something was. And it was insidious, and it was under the surface, and it was fear, it was anxiety, it was panic attacks, it was self-doubt. And I was definitely 5 years ago today at the lowest point in my life, and I didn't know how I was going to keep going. I was having a conversation with a student of mine. I felt like such a fraud because I taught songwriting and singing at the Con here in Queensland, and I felt like such a fraud because I couldn't finish my songs. And when my dear student Erin said that she couldn't finish, she didn't want to share with me as a teacher in a private room her song idea because it wasn't good enough. In that moment, my heart just really broke for her because that was exactly the same feeling I had, that same feeling of isolation. And I just said to her, we just can't do this anymore. Like, I'm done with this. Like, I'm done with feeling inadequate. I'm done with us thinking that our ideas are not good enough. Let's just do this. Let's write a song every week. Let's make this fun. Let's make this fast, and let's just do this over and over and over again. And it was because of this. The pain of not writing was actually greater than the pain of writing. Who can relate to that? And so that's when I decided it was just time to write. It was just time to write. So in that moment, I said to Erin, I'm starting a songwriting club in this very moment. Can I just tell you, this is September 11, 2014. This is literally next week, 5 years ago. I'm starting a songwriting club, and you and I are the first members, and we're going to write a song this week in an hour, and we're just going to share it with each other and give each other feedback. And the next thing I know, somebody else joins, and that person joins there, and that person joins there. Give me a yell if you're an I Heart Songwriting Club. And all these people started joining, and the next thing I know, I'd written 10 songs in 10 weeks. Finish songs in 10 weeks. Who thinks that that's pretty cool? Like, that would love to write 10 songs in 10 months. And then we decided to play this, you know, these 10 songs, or some of those songs, not all of those songs, because frankly, about 7 of them were absolute complete shit. But 3 of them were okay, you know, and we played them in a backyard concert at someone's house. People paid $15 to come and see us. There was 50 people that came to this concert. We played these songs, and it was like, holy shit, I've never had so much fun writing songs ever in my life. And I've never written so many in such a short period of time. I'm never going to stop, and I'm going to keep going. And so this is the process. This is how I did it differently. I put time aside every week. I put aside 1 hour a week. And like, I'm not telling you that was easy. It wasn't. But I put aside 1 hour every week. And I sat down to write, and I had boundaries around it. So in I Heart Songwriting Club, we give each other a theme. This week the theme was wildfire, if you're interested. And it was, you know, the guideline was about talking to the micro, not the macro. Let the listener, you know, see the bigger picture, and you just talk about the minute details. Something I don't do in my lyric writing, so it was a great exercise for me to practice that. So I sat down and I wrote. I did hit a block. I always hit blocks, but instead of walking away, this is what I do different now. I get really curious. And curiosity looks like asking questions. Curiosity looks like being playful. Curiosity looks like exploration, being an adventurer. Like, what would happen? Who cares if I go this way? And what would happen if I went this way? And what about if I try this? And okay, so I'm saying this is a really embarrassing song right now, or a dodgy song. Why can't it be that? Why can't I just write that? And so what resulted in is me finishing the song, because I used that level of curiosity to finish. And then I shared it with my peers, and then I get this instant relief. Their feedback is instant relief from this level of struggle, or pain is probably not the right word anymore for me, but at the beginning it was definitely pain. And that feeling is like them being encouraged and uplifted.
Now that's a cycle, but can I just say that if you keep doing that, just look at my slides, I thought I'd get really clever here. If you keep glowing there, it starts to grow, and the next thing you know, you have a garden. Yeah? And that's really different to that creative wasteland that you can have. And so what I have done is I've written 260 songs in 260 weeks. Thank you very much. And I absolutely will never stop. Because why? It's 1 hour out of my week, right? But it's 260 songs. So that's it on the outset. But let me tell you on the inside, I've learned completely new skills. I taught myself guitar 4 years ago. I pretty much only play guitar now, and I love it. It's so much fun. I write in genres that I've never written in before. I write in new languages. I now play songs in other countries because I write in new languages. I now record myself because these are the things that I've learned by writing songs in an hour. I can now play at a whole different level. And I've got this huge community around me, but it's even deeper than that. What I've also built up is a fuckload of resilience. I mean that in relationships, with myself, in my career, in everything. I feel well all of the time. And here I was with a mental health plan, and now I'm well all of the time. And if I'm not, it's moments I go off course and I know how to get back on, and it's really got a lot to do with my community and creating. I feel a huge sense of fulfillment and connection with others. And I think the part that I really love is the amount of love I have for myself. And because I've seen others go through that level of struggle within the community of I Heart Songwriting Club, and I feel such a deep sense of empathy for and how much they judge themselves, that I think that I've just learnt to love myself a lot more. But this is not just about me. I can only really talk about my experience because that's my experience, but this has actually helped so many hundreds of songwriters around the world. So I Heart Songwriting Club has hundreds and hundreds of songwriters, and not just song outcomes, but also mental health outcomes and community outcomes. This is Helen Paris, and she's a mum and a songwriter that lives in Sydney. And she joined the club right at the beginning, and she says being accountable to the process of writing every week, even when she's feeling low or even when she's feeling down, has a huge positive